Hi, you're live with Virus at Deptford Market in Deptford, South East London. On a drizzly, cold up Saturday tea time. And today's edition is called Sign of the Times. As the nation absorbs the passing of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, momentous events are happening, one after the other, as the world grieves the loss of DMX. It was on the same day. So, today's format. It's going to be a pocket local history, 3 poems to open doors in your mind, and then walkabout. Right. Left again. Okay. Deptford is an area of South East London, England. It's on the south bank of the River Thames and it's within the borough of Lewisham. Thank you. Okay. Deptford took its name from a ford across the Ravensbourne Bridge, River along the route of the old Celtic trackway, which was later the Roman road, Watling Street. Okay. The name is a corruption. How you doing, bro? You right? The name was a corruption of Deptford, hence you get the word Deptford. All right, brother. Okay, Deptford was part of the pilgrimage route from London to Canterbury, used by the pilgrims, his brother, in the Canterbury Tales. So that was basically a big battle there in 1497. Okay, it was the Battle of Deptford Bridge, and that took place when rebels from Cornwall, led by one Michael Angoff, marched on London. They're protesting against heavy taxes, but they got whooped by the King's men, you know. A second settlement, Deptford Strand, developed as a fishing village up until when Henry VIII used the site for a royal dock, he did. And that grew and grew in influence up until about 1869. All right, so both areas then merged over the times, and the docks were played a big role in the Elizabethan exploration, you know, with Sir Francis Drake being knighted. He was knighted there by Elizabeth I aboard the Golden Hind in 1581. I can tell you there's some gorgeous smells along this road, excuse me. So Deptford was important for trade. It housed the East India Company in its yard, and it was also connected, it was also connected with the African slave trade, with slave monger John Hawkins using it as his base of operations. Right. Okay. In 1694, Peter the Great of Russia lived in Deptford. For 3 months, he was studying shipbuilding. Peter the Great, he lived 3 months learning about shipbuilding. Right, wow. And also, the area started to decline, my friend, from, let's say, around the 18th century or so. The bigger ship sizes being made the Thames less navigable, and it just meant that as a result, Plymouth, Portsmouth, they were busier really. Come the end of the Napoleonic Wars, around 1815, well then less demand for the ship services where they're repairing warships. The demand fell and the docks actually closed in 1869. Right, in 1871 it became, right up until World War I, the City of London Corporation's foreign cattle market, and this is where women and girls butchered sheep and cattle. Oh, lovely. 1914, it was taken over by the War Office. Okay. And it became an army supply depot. It did, right through up until 1984, it was out of use. And then it became newsprint headquarters. News International took it over. And in 2008, some investors are now planning 3,500 homes in the area, which will be very, very welcome indeed. Right, so Deptford has experienced economic decline in the 20th century as well. The docks have closed mainly since the 80s, and bomb damage from World War II. The VT bombs killing about 160 people at the Woolworths locally, the worst one in the World War II. Okay, it meant a lot of people moved out of the area, Kent and things like that. However, West Indian immigration into the whole of the southeast of London area included Deptford, and many West Indian immigrants moved in the 1950s, 60s and onwards the 70s and 80s. Okay, there's a big student population in Deptford, okay, like Goldsmiths College, University of Greenwich, Bellaby's College and the Laban Dance Centre. Goldsmiths itself had a hall of residence where I actually stayed in 1988, 1989, and that was in Rachel Macmillan Hall, and that was up in Creek Road, just down the other end of this street. Let me tell you now, we had some great times in there. In 2001, Macmillan Student Village was actually born from that. It was sold and made a student village with over 1,000 students there, and you can imagine, whoa, what gets on. Right then, the area's got a unique culture. Lovely. It's got the Albany Theatre, Deptford Cinema, it's got Brook Mill, it's got Deptford, Ferranti, Pepys and Sayscroft Road parks. Basically, it's got a lot of parks. Okay, right. So, coming down to the notable residents of people like playwright Christopher Marlowe. He was actually killed in Deptford in 1593. Peter the Great has said, Francis Drake, plus the bands of Squeeze and Dire Straits. So, with no further ado, on to today's first poem. And this one is called Minority Report. It did draw a couple snorts. Minority Reports. Man one drag it through the courts. This air mission get publicly abort. But where did it fall short? Well, we've all heard of reverse engineering. You know, when you fix a problem before it's happened? Go to the root. The truth can be angled, but like an offshoot of the truth. Let's check another perspective. I'll try not to be subjective, but in another time, in the pre-COVID world, I was a salesman for 30 years. And what I learned is that if you don't correctly target, it always ends in tears. So, Yaris wants a black jewel. Oh yeah, let's call Tony Shear, a citizen of the British Empire, and a black man. No doubt he can sort it out. Tony, hear him now. Tony. The fact that 5 times the rate of stop and search for young black males compared to their white counterparts is down to them killing each other all the time. Yes, Dada, yes. Come on, Tony. From one brother to another. From one brother to another. We don't know. But a united front. We have to show. How about the why? That is, rather than the how. Surely, you know, all nations have to bow. Of course, we know the report, yeah, I said King, contains some hard truth. We're angry, we're not dumb and uncouth. You speak of the melting of the snowy white peaks, of Oxbridge and the Bar, and of Parliament, other bourgeois aspirations. Hang on. Snowy white peaks? Either that's Tintin's dog dropping one E. Are you really taking the piss out of we? Now, with due respect, our Asian sisters and brothers, when it comes to government, they have earned their place. But Tony, when it comes to black people that look like you, it's a disgrace. Grace. Home Secretary, Asian origin. Chancellor Exchequer, Asian origin. Mayor of London, Asian origin. Okay. Minister for Vaccination, Asian origin. Business Secretary, African origin. Invisibility Direct Secretary, West Indian origin. You promised removing the phrase B-A-M-E. Thank you. Oh yeah, whoopee. Black Lives Matters, educationally subnormal. None of them came from we. Stop using them to define people who is free. Tell you what, I cannot fault your bravery in your bombast attempt to redefine African slavery. Back spinning it to say Africans re-emerged anyway. Into what? Negropeans? Okay, go on, have your say. Have your say. You better not mention the breeding farms and feeding enslaved children from troughs of mush. That's right, Tony. I'm imagining it. So I better hush. Yes, my brother. Yes, brother. I prefer David Olusoga any day when it comes to understanding the evil impact of African slavery on the modern day. Jar it in. To continue more would be a sin. People, please feel good. Nobody get tense. Nobody get taught over Yoris. Minority Report. Thank you very much, and straight on to poem 2. This one here is called April the 12th. Okay. April the 12th. We can then show the nation's wealth. Isolated. No more stealth. Oh. Such an important day. Let's see what history has to say. Shall we have a look at past events on this day? Oh, go on if you may. 1606, England adopts a Union flag, replaced in 1801 by the current flag, the Union Jack, 1787. Philadelphia's free African slavery forms, 1877. Britain annexes South Africa. 1911, the first stop, non-stop London to Paris flight, took 3 hours and 56 minutes. 1940, Italy annexes Albania. 1961, Ray Charles wins 4 Grammys. 1961, Russian Yuri Gagarin becomes the first person to orbit the whole of the Earth. 1969, Wales beat England 30-9 at Cardiff National Stadium. 1990, James Brown is released from prison from a 15-month stretch. Okay, 1999, Bill Clinton indicted on sexual harassment contempt charges against Monica Lewinsky. 2020, Pope Francis calls for world unity in the face of COVID during an Easter address. And then, after that, 2021, you can go to Lidl. So, the scramble this Monday gets a better perspective. Now it will, not that it's going to stop you reaching your objective. Nah, no, of course not. This is where we're at. This is what it's become. People see shopping as a meaningful recreation. The world has changed, and many, they don't even notice. Bless up yourself. There's no going back. Now it's via a click. Instead of from a shelf. Still, everybody, stay safe on April the 12th. Okay, and thank you very much for your time. And today's third and final poem. And this one, you're going to move smoothly onto it, going to lighten up the mood even for you, all right? You're a drizzly off day today. This poem's called Blood Clot.
I'm turning them out.
You all right, sir?
Pardon?
I said, you all right? Yeah, right. Ah, blood clots. So, English people learn about blood clot. Well, it's about time, you lot. West Indians have been referring to it for some time. We even have variants of a kind. Blood cleat, it sounds so sweet. Blood clot, yeah, that has a pitney on your fart. Bomber clot, something you hear. Something you hear from your mum. Possibly connected to your mum. Blood clot, often said by your dad. But not always. When you been bad. By the way, have you ever seen a blood clot? It's not pretty. It looks like a golf ball, but it make out a D. Well, alright, sir. Better not speak ill of the vaccine, but enough people I secretly hold them breath in. Case the news at 10, tell them I resume testing. No. Virus, you talk fart. Virus, you talk fart. In fact, we say, shut up your mouth. You little blood clot. Okay. Thanks for your time today. There's blood, yes. Thanks for your time today. Also, our regards to Elizabeth Windsor, the Queen of England. Okay, the Queen of Jamaica. Yes. She's the Queen of Barbados. Right now, she's the Queen of St. Kitts and she's the Queen of St. Nevis. All right, okay. Right now, she's the Queen of St. Lucia, of Belzise, Bahamas, and Antigua, of Papua New Guinea, and Guinea. And she's the Queen of the Solomon Islands. Elizabeth. She's the Queen of Gibraltar. She is the Duke of Normandy. All right, and she is the Lord of Man. But let me tell you something. She would give it all up in a blink of her eye if she could get back her man. So, behalf of my mother, Sonia, bless her. Okay, so before we wrap it up, as usual, and before we go, it's time for walkabout. Yes. So, I used to go to Macmillan Hall. It's down the bottom there on the right. Let me tell you something. Some crazy party off nights down there. Let me tell you something now. Coming in, quite normal to see rows of people with kebab and cider. Yeah. All rows watching the TV room, watching. What's it called now? Neighbours at all 4 a.m. Normal. Once I was bored. Whoa. Once I was bored, went for a walk. Past the cemetery, I heard some rough bass line. Go investigate that. Guess what? I bumped into Jazz Shaka, and it was in the cemetery here, and it was the best night ever. So there you go. I want to thank you all for your time. It's been a wonderful day today. Here's Deptford after Phil's funeral. You might want to come round and check the areas out. But as usual, over and out from me, virus. Take care now. Virus, you know I love you.